Sound the alarms, cue the trumpets and the fanfare. We have arrived at our final lesson in our Unit 3 journey through polynomials and rational functions. With no further ado, let's just get into it. Okay, so at this point in time, we should have established that when we have a proportion, we can use the cross multiplication technique, which is the equivalent of multiplying by the denominator on both sides of the equation. The reason why we multiply by the denominator is because when we have division, we need to apply the inverse operation, which would be multiplication. So for this particular slide, I challenge you to write down two things that you notice and two things that you wonder about this algebraic solution path. All right, so we have Jada here trying to determine the values of x that makes this equation true. She says that she multiplies both sides by the quantity x times x plus 1. She determines that the solutions are x equals 1 and x equals negative 1. But when she substituted in x equals negative 1, the equation doesn't make any sense. This goes back to this idea of an extraneous solution. Sometimes there are numerical values that satisfy, per the laws of algebra, the equation. However, they're inapplicable because of the constraints that are established due to the functions that we currently have. So is Jada's work correct or not? And be sure to explain your reasoning. Huge hint here, you really want to think of what the word extraneous stands for. Well, if you get to the next slide in this video, I hope that you pick yes, her work is correct, because rational functions are undefined in their denominators. So when we substitute in negative 1 into Jada's left-hand rational function, negative 1 plus 1 will yield a 0, thus breaking that half of the equation. So that is the rationale for part 1. And I would like for you to talk to me a little bit about how the denominator here in our second equation influences the solutions to this particular rational function. Do you really need to go through the process of cross multiplication, or is there a more efficient manner, and are all of the solutions going to apply, or are any considered extraneous? So over the next 3 slides, we have plenty of practice. You might be sitting there moaning and groaning, but I know for some of you algebraic junkies, this is your wheelhouse. So this is a perfect opportunity to prepare for our end of unit assessment. So work your way through with your, I was going to say with your breakout groups, because that is where we are going to pause this activity. Gotcha. So we'll be handling this together in class, for trying to determine the values of x that cannot be solutions to the equation. So a little sneak peek at what we'll be doing and having a conversation during our debrief regarding those values of x before continuing on to the enhancement opportunities. So joke's on you. I hope that put a little smile on your face, and the anxiety of having what feels like a bajillion equations to solve has been lifted. So I will see you in class tomorrow.